I don't think I'll be using Airbnb really ever again. This is such a bad experience. We're going to London in December, in January.
Tried to book an Airbnb.
I usually stay without the kids for a couple of days while I'm working, and then we'll go in and we'll watch a show. And so this is like late December. And we usually stay in Airbnb because it's much, like for 2-bedroom, Airbnb is historically perfect. Did a search on Airbnb, and first I think we talked about this about 7 or 8 months ago, but the pricing was really high. So for like the cheapest 2-bedder I could find was about $1,000 Australian a night, and they weren't real 2-bedders.
It's a bit rough to quote it in AUD though, because the pound is so strong.
But I'm comparing to hotels, so it's all. I'm just comparing back to Australian dollars because most of our listeners are Australian, not all, obviously.
Yeah.
And for a proper 2-bedder, it was about $1,500 a night. This is in sort of Marylebone, Soho, so pretty good areas, but not
central London.
Pretty basic apartments, like nothing fancy at all. Nowhere near as fancy as a hotel.
Yeah.
And usually I pay a bit less than that for like a Mayfair. So I booked one. About 24 hours later, some guy comes, this long-winded spiel saying, I'm trying to take it off the market or something. I said, okay, fine. He said it was a nice enough message. It seemed too good to be true because it was way cheaper than everything else. Booked another one. 24 hours later, didn't even confirm. So that's a horrific experience. So
horrific.
That's 2 days I've wasted, like 24 hours I've wasted. I've booked it. I've given my credit card details.
My horrific repeat was sarcastic, by the way, but it was disappointing.
Terrible customer experience. Especially when they've said basically it's effectively, I've never had an issue with confirming it.
Yeah.
And then everything else is like basically spending $3,000 for 2 nights for a 2-bedder. And that's crazy. Stuff I said, I'm going to go back to hotels. I work in the hotel business. I'll look at a hotel because usually hotels in London for families aren't great. But
can't you pull some strings or something?
Yeah, but I just didn't want to. It's a family stay. It's not so there's only so many strings you can pull.
I would still put strings.
Anyway, so I've looked at, and I've got a.
By the way, there's only so many strings you can pull. That's loser talk.
So I've ended up using points, but for an interconnecting hotel room, it's like $1,800. So it's actually cheaper than it's cheaper than even. And
they clean your room.
You don't have to spend like 3 hours cleaning up afterwards and throw my own rubbish
I only care about cleanliness. That's probably the top of my list of everything.
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal.
And I got lounge access as a Marriott Bonvoy member. So all this stuff. And
but do you use hotel points? Is that what you use? Hotel points.
I'm using Bonvoy points here.
Bonvoy points.
Because luxury estates points don't exist yet. They will shortly.
So Steve would approve of those point use. Bonvoy points for Bonvoy he would approve of?
Depends on what the cost is. Depends how many points you have. Let's forget the points. If I was booking on cash, I would have paid the same for less than I'd pay for a 1.5 bedder and about 30% less than a 2-bedder for the equivalent. So why on earth why would I book an Airbnb when it's more expensive and worse?
Tip about Airbnbs that I've discovered.
Yeah.
But it's risky.
Yeah.
But it's as a tip. But I think the risk return curve of this does skew in favour of return.
Okay.
You have to book an Airbnb that is too new on the market to have a star rating.
Reviews.
But has 1 or 2 ratings from guests. So you can see what the guest has said, but they don't give it a formal star rating. And so I just booked an Airbnb. I'll tell you how it goes. It's in Sydney. I'll tell you how it goes. It looks really good. It's new on the market, but it's got 1 very positive review, but no official star rating yet. And it's probably 35% cheaper than anything else in the category.
That's what I did, but they cancelled on me. So exactly what I did.
That's
why I got good. That's why I got a good price on it. But the problem is it backfired because. So I basically, I don't think I'll be using Airbnb really ever again. This is such a bad experience. Well, and I think they used to have that price advantage, right, over hotels. I remember we talked about supply and get the share price being overpriced. So that's adjusted now. That's 40% down since we said it should be a short on the show. Yeah. Forget valuation. I'm talking about actual customer experience, which the customer experience was always okay. It used to be really good and was still okay. And we'll talk about founder mode, and Chesky was the guy who basically talked about it. And we'll get to him in a second. But I think Airbnb's jumped the shark. I think it's done.
Well, this is the marketplace risk, right? When you're a marketplace, you're at the mercy of the inventory on the marketplace.
But this is secondary inventory. This is just the customer experience is bad. They've lost the customer experience.
It's not their fault that it's all expensive. That's a marketplace. That's how capitalism works. Yeah. Obviously, there's something that is driving.
Not enough liquidity in the market is probably the answer to that. If you've got enough liquidity, the price goes down. Enough supply.
The apartments that you were looking at that were expensive,
or too much demand.
They're only expensive for one of 2 reasons. Either someone is prepared to pay that price,
too much demand or enough supply.
Or there's some other way that they're earning money that's not this way, like maybe renting it out for longer term, or maybe it's their apartment and they're like, I'm not going to move out of my apartment and go to my parents for the weekend unless I get a certain amount of money. So an external force outside the use as an Airbnb, but something's going on. Like the whole world hasn't just decided that they don't want to make money out of Airbnbs anymore. In fact, it's corporatized.
Well, I think that's the issue. I think it's being corporatized. I think they're across multiple channels now.
But they still need to fill them to make money.
I think the arbitrage is just gone for Airbnbs. I think there used to be that great arbitrage where they'd be cheaper than they'd be this great stay, beautifully hosted, better than a hotel, cheaper than a hotel. I think they've lost it now.
If you felt that the quality of an Airbnb was completely reliable for you. So if you booked something that had 5 stars and looked really nice, it was going to be a 5-star experience as much as you trust a hotel.
Yep.
Do you think it should be cheaper than a hotel?
Yes, absolutely.
Why? It shouldn't be.
Well, there's a check-in hassle. You've got to meet the person, get the key.
There's a room versus an apartment with 3 bedrooms or something.
So I'm comparing interconnecting. I'm comparing interconnecting to. If I'm by
myself,
I
totally agree with that. It should be cheaper than interconnecting hotel rooms.
If I'm by myself, hotel's fine. What do I care? I never stay in an Airbnb by myself. It's pointless. All I want is a desk and a bed.
But a 2-bedroom Airbnb, do you think it should be cheaper than a hotel room?
Absolutely should be. You got
than a hotel room.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm comparing it to 2 rooms.
Yeah, but the thing is this: most people cannot just go and buy 2 interconnecting rooms. That is not how the distribution of wealth exists in society, okay?
No, I'm not denying that.
And so what most people were doing is, instead of buying a hotel room and packing their family into a family room, which is two doubles, they would go and get a 1 or 2 bedroom Airbnb, and they would do that, and it would be cheaper.
Yeah.
And so my view of that is, it shouldn't be cheaper from a supply and demand point of view, because you're getting something better. The space that you're getting
my point now is
material.
You're paying more for a 2-bedroom versus an interconnecting, which is a 2-bedroom.
No, I understand that
like
point.
For like, it's now worse value. It used to be significantly better, and now it's significantly worse.
I feel like we're not going to agree on this because we refuse to discuss the same topic. So let's both agree that each one of the things that we're saying is amazing.
Yeah.
And let's move on. Okay. And I'll help you book your next Airbnb because I think I've worked out how to book good ones. I
used your strategy and it didn't work because they cancelled on me.
Well, then, you have to. I thought you're a founder. Aren't you meant to be resilient, persistent, all of those things?
I was resilient enough, so I found a better offer.
Yeah,
and then and I pivoted to a hotel again.
You should be pulling strings. You should say, I'm going to stay and I'm going to write a review on Luxury Escapes about the hotel I stay at, and my 25 million customers are all going to see this review. I think you'll get great stuff.
The issue with that is...
I can be your agent.
You get so many... Every time you ask for a favour, that's got a cost to the business. So if I'm asking for a favour for me to stay, that's a favour I can't give to an influencer, I can't give to somebody else. So there is a cost to the business that I'm not sure
it works exactly like that. It's interesting that that's what you think. I feel like... I tell you why I feel differently. So let's say you went to this Marriott and they gave you some mega suite to stay with your family.
Yeah.
And then you talked about it on the podcast, you wrote it up on Luxury Escapes.
Yeah.
I think that the dynamic in that situation would be that they feel like they owe you, not that you owe them for the stay. Yeah. I think that would buy you even more strings subsequently.
Yeah, and you can certainly I've written reviews for hotels before and got comp there, but I'm not sure. Maybe I could have written a review here, but it would have been I did for the Maldives, for example. I wrote a great review. It's coming out in our magazine next month, but I'm just not sure you get the same value. The hotel will get the same value if it's a London hotel because it's not our bread and butter.
I see.
But you never know.